Good morning, everybody.
Morning. I get the impression quite a few people in the UK might be taking a long bank holiday.
That's a good idea.
My question is, where are you going? What are you doing?
And why do you think you're allowed to go there?
No, I do think it's a good idea for people to take a break because this has been going on for quite some time. But I'm also aware it's one of those weekends where a lot of people would have been heading off to some sort of festival or other celebration. And I'm sure people are quite keenly feeling the lack of those. So we're going to try and cheer you up this morning.
We are.
With our awesome guest. But then also I'm going to encourage everybody who would have been at an event and isn't going to be to take a look at saveourvenues.co.uk events page, because we actually have 3 festivals happening this weekend, as well as lots of other events as well. And although it is in no way the same as absolutely being there, we know that, of course we do, there are going to be some fantastic artists performing for virtual audiences. So it's not the same, but it's something. I think that's what we'd say. And it's something for those artists as well, of course, because artists are really missing it as much as audiences are missing it. And obviously the venue people are missing it. We know. We empathise. We're missing it too.
Yeah, but this weekend there is a lot of stuff on. I mean,
there's some really great stuff on, yeah.
There's I was just looking at the Vive le Rock Down Festival that somebody's put together. Vive le Rock magazine to put that together. It's literally a lineup of everybody you were supposed to be terrified of when I was a kid, which is brilliant.
Yeah, they're probably not so scary now.
Yeah. Captain Sensible's on there and Ruts DC, and like it's a fantastic lineup of stuff.
There's also a Bristol takeover.
Yeah, that's good.
Organised by Colston Hall for lots of Bristol artists and Bristol grassroots music venues. And
there's a Liverpool Digital Music one
Festival
as well. And also on Sunday night, there's the Bastille one, which is Bastille were doing a gig for Save Our Venues, and that's on their Instagram live feed.
Don't look at me, I don't know. You have to go to the page.
Well,
anyway,
Tony's here, she knows.
We're not really running an advert.
Well, no, it's
Elevenses.
just the thing of like going into a bank holiday weekend. I mean, from Tunbridge Wells, I'd say, Unfest is that's when you know that it's almost summer. Well,
and the kids would have been at Slam Dunk.
Yeah. Sham Dunk's happening as well. Sham Dunk, where you can listen to somebody DJ the stuff that's going on. So morning, Chris, Simon and Tony and Scott, and hi, Julian in Japan. And
Davina thought I might sit in a different chair at dinner time. Thank you for sharing that, Davina. That's your concession to the bank holiday weekend, is it? Excellent. Anyway, we've got a guest. Enough wibble from us.
We have a highly interactive guest for you today because we like to do different things.
And another award-winning guest. We've been doing really well this week. Yep. We've had several award-winning guests on of people that you might not have come across, but are winning awards in their own things they do. And it's just one of those things that, you go through life and you don't come across loads of people who are so interesting in normal circumstances. So I think that's a positive I would take from this, is being connected with people that I probably wouldn't have met in other circumstances, and really enjoying meeting.
And rather like yesterday's where we had Andrew and Bonneville's on, I nearly didn't make the broadcast because what they were saying was so interesting. I thought I was just doing it for me. But anyway, so drum roll. Say hello to Rupert.
Morning, Rupert.
Good morning, Bev and Mark, and hello everyone else in the chat room. Hello.
I don't think we've bigged you up enough yet. I think you should explain who you are.
I was about to give you 1,000 points for the drum roll. Absolutely. There was, a bit of hand percussion, a bit of brrrr. It's a two-way thing, and the energy you bring. No, honestly, thank you. That was a wonderful introduction. It's wonderful to be here, and it's wonderful what you guys are doing too.
So we should say you are basically a world champion beatboxer, but also the organizer of, well, you tell us.
Well, absolutely, yeah, nailed it in one. Being a performer, I'm the world beatbox champion with the Beatbox Collective, which is a group I set up many years ago. My mum's obviously delighted being a world champion beatboxer. And also I organise and own the UK Beatbox Championships with my partner Hobbit. And we put that on once a year, and that's basically, rather than the World Championships, it's the UK version. So we basically build a platform for all these young aspiring beatboxers to congregate, to connect. Although we were thinking just before the COVID lockdown, can you name an event that could possibly be more health and safety breaching than a beatbox event in COVID lockdown? I mean, we were going to organise our event, and we held back from putting it on, when we heard the news, and it was going, I don't know.
Shields, maybe?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to look into some sponsorship, sponsored plastic shields. I mean, Sainsbury's have got them, so once they've finished with them, I'm sure we can reuse them, upcycle, keep the trend going and all that thing. But
deep cleaning your microphones is going to be something, isn't it?
Yeah, the poor sound engineers that sort of have to go filter through the microphone. Like,
you're not really selling this concept. You're basically just saying beatboxers spit a lot.
Yes, it's the salivating competition. But I mean, honestly, I always say that when sort of doing a workshop and everything, go, right, microphone technique, it's good to hold close and everything. Don't smell the microphone. I mean, we've all learned the hard way.
Oh, yes. Mike's never smelled it.
After the Ragga twins, I think, was a bad experience one time. I mean, this is definitely a wake-up call. If anyone has just tuned in and stuff, this is certainly going to get the people going.
So look, Rupert, I know you do. I mean, I tuned in yesterday, and I had a look at the TED talk and everything. I saw you basically trying to teach a room full of quite stuffy people what beatboxing is, but like just do the basics, like so the basic the basic bass drum is this and the snare drum is this. I promise you that we can't do it, but just like
I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. So talk to me like that.
Beautiful. Sort of, even you accidentally said that rather than the kick drum, you said the bum drum. Bum is fine. Any word is fine, and there is no such thing as can't. Okay, can't stops you doing anything. We all know that. Now, the simple thing is, rather than me explaining it, going, right, if you tie your face like this and use a bit of sellotape here and then do this at the same time, no, simply repeat after me. In fact, hold your hand like you've got a little drumstick in your hands. Let's see if we can just synchronize.
I'm ready.
Both of you, come on, Pev. Here we go. It's a two-way thing. Here we go. On the count of three, simply say, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Second sound, it's kicking cuss sound. Just go. On the count of three, ready? 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Third sound, this is the kick drum. Okay, you can use more of a fist for this one rather than a drum, and simply go 1, 2, 3.
No, you see that one? I have no idea how to do. How do you do that?
That was a solid. Okay, so try this. Try repeating twice this time. Try go.
Oh. I can't get it.
No,
that was it.
Sound anything like how you do it.
No.
You do it again.
No, Mark's got. There's some strong kick drum coming through. Now try it 4 times. Try.
I got it now.
That was German techno. Nailed it. That was absolutely perfect. So
okay.
Those three sounds. If I do I'll start really easy. Okay, and I'll say a full phrase, and then you repeat it. Then I'll say another phrase, and we'll get faster and faster and harder, and see how far we go on a Friday morning. Okay. Here we go. Okay, and Bev, make sure you join in as well. Remember,
I'll be laughing so much. I doubt I'll be joining in, but
you get 20 points for laughter. That's fine. Ready? Here we go.
Hang on, what was that one? No.
Yep, that was it. And
boom, boom, boom.
And try.
Okay, you might be getting a bit beyond this now.
Bev, give him a round of applause. Anyone in the chat room, give Mark a round of applause. Didn't expect to do that. That's the vocal warm-up for the day.
Okay, so that's me doing it very badly. What about if you showed us?
There was no bad about it. You nailed it, honestly.
What about it?
Okay, beginner level. Okay, not bad, beginner level.
But Rupert, I mean, just to give people an idea of how far we can go with this, what about if we go right in at the top end of the level of what you could possibly do?
Right. Okay.
So, we're going to drop out so I can watch the full expressions on your face. You take over.
Wonderful. No one wants that experience, but here we go. Well, good morning to all of you at the Friendly Fuel, at the Music Venue Trust. It's the Basics Live Beyond the Mix, and we're about to show you something. This. So we'd love to explain every sound is a good sound. Put it into mathematical formula, and it equals music. So very simply, you can use your teeth and go. Your dentist doesn't advise it, and neither does your mum. But what I'm going to show you now is the fastest teeth in the world. Here we go. And that's just the teeth. But with the teeth, the tongue, and the mouth, you can go. And we call that the click roll in the beatboxing world. But with the teeth, the tongue, the mouth, the nose, and the throat, all together it sounds a little bit like this. The input and the brakes in the mix. Fresh, which is the basis of beatboxing. But a lot of people think that beatboxing is just a hip hop thing. It's any type of music you've ever listened to, any influence you've ever had. Okay, it can be sound effects, it can be impressions, absolutely all sorts. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a few songs. Hopefully this is for nice and eclectic for a bit of everyone, but it's going to be a bit of rock and roll, a bit of house music. And if it's a sunny day out there, well, sing along with the last song. Here we go. Push me and put his watch me and pull I bet pipe spread his back spoon. Watch the beast, 10 benches to punch the beast, 10 builds I bet the pipe spread his back spoon, spread his back spoon. Now, I did say it's all about using the human anatomy, even if it looks incredibly silly. Ow. Oh, and anyone who is or was planning to go to a festival, or if you're just going to go out and enjoy the sunshine, well, here you go. Sing along with this if you get it. As the skies are blue, red roses too, Poppy and too, Poppy and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Hoping everyone is happy and safe at home. Thank you. This is the Bass6 live. In the mix.
Right.
Okay. Before he starts with the questions, people who have arrived late, this is an award-winning beatboxer. This is our guest for today because not content with having magicians on, we now want to puzzle you in another way.
That could be you press play at the right time there, that's for sure.
Rupert, I mean, that was stunning. Okay, but I mean, I play instruments and stuff, and some of there was a bit that there were two bits where I reeled back in the chair and just went What? How's that? So can you just break for everybody like me? Can you
Who does need to know how it works,
So,
whereas I just enjoy it
break
because it's
down
brilliant.
when you were doing New Order Blue Monday.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
So really slowly, so that I could just get any idea how that was done. Just do the opening part. Like, can you do the opening part again? The where the bass where the bass note comes in.
Now, so the concept there is I'm resonating my lips here. Now, if it's like beatboxing can be glorified raspberry blowing in a sense, okay? So if I had loose lips, the sound, and if I did it with the front of my mouth, it'd be a tighter, it'd be a higher resonance, and it'd be a. Now, obviously, a different compression there, I can make it sound a bit smoother with a. But then, if I use the side of my mouth, I'm going. And it's essentially humming, but resonating the lips at the same time. And then I add the kick at the same time, which for me, I'm showing you the right-hand side of my mouth because that's where I feel most comfortable to do it. And I'll show you an example of proper prior planning prevents pistol performance, or going to the gym, practicing, whatever it is. Now, listen to me when I do a bass line on the other side of my mouth. I go. It's not as strong because I haven't practiced. So it's like going to the gym, practicing that. But on this side, I can do it with the kick, and it's a. And so it's the two sounds together, and it's a bit like doing that. But when I taught you how to beatbox earlier, when you just did that very simple thing, you did 1, 2, 3, you did about 3 or 4 levels. You did a beat and a bass line at the same time. I went boom, 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 and you went boom, boom, boom. And so if you can hum that, you can hum and beatbox anything. If you want to do Peter and the Wolf.
They're going to do Peter and the Wolf. Do Peter and the Wolf.
Finally, I can release my inner classical.
Childhood favourite of mine.
Right, so there is actually 2 sounds happening at once. It's not my ears. You've got the humming and you've got the bass drum sound being made by your lips.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's
and so
multiple sounds, isn't it? As you go on, you're building up layers and layers, which is where my question comes in, which is like, are there tutorials, or do people just, is it something that people just learn because they've got a really good ear?
A bit of both. The beatbox community is a beautiful community where everyone, if someone goes like, someone goes, how do you do that? And they go, oh, well, I do this and I use my tongue. And everyone's really sharing. This is how we build our speech, our language, our communication is amazing. However, if you see someone do something, it might take you 2 weeks and you could be practicing that one sound for 5 days in a row, nothing. Then you'll be in bed for 3 nights later, and suddenly, it suddenly clicks. Now, I think the repetition of watching something or listening to something, I certainly had that when I listened to Razel, and I heard him when I heard him singing and beatboxing at the same time, I was like, this is possible. This is possible. And so once you've seen it, it's believable, and you know it's unlimited, really.
Well, that neatly brings me on to the bit that I really couldn't understand when you were doing that is then in the second part of New Order Blue Monday, you started singing. So do that, and then let me just try and train my ears. Do that part where the singing comes in.
So it's now that's, if you hit, there's a sloppy way of hearing it, and then it's just of the practice of, it's like when I did earlier, I did push me and then just touch me. Now, if you listen carefully, I'm going push me, and so it's P with a me. I mean, I could go push me and use a as a me, which counts as that sound. But it's about trying to find some of the words and where you can sort of like link them, but then putting a punch sound, a punctuation on each of, so it's like, does it feel? And that feel, it's quite hard to get, it's a peel, but you're trying to get the in there as well, just to say, you're not sort of completely going, pow, puzz it, peel. You know, it's like, and it's
Got another question.
keep going.
So, what made you start wanting to do this? Was it that you heard other people doing it, or was it a fascination with the sort of science side of it? Because this is really scientific, of like what is possible with the human body, basically, isn't it? So, where did you start, Rupert?
I started first. I didn't even know what beatboxing was, but I used to always do sound effects and impressions of teachers and stuff with a friend when I was 5 years old, 6 years old. And then I started beatboxing, or me and my friend, we started beatboxing the Thunderbirds theme tune. I didn't know it was called beatboxing then. We were just going, you know, small bit of percussion, bit of humming, whatever it was. And then, so doing that, and I always had a friend at a school who did weird sounds. And if you've ever seen The Trip with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon, it's exactly that. And, you know, of course, there's a one-upmanship and, you know, but there is no best. There is no, you know, you learn from each other and you applaud each other and you give each other confidence to push those things. But then also my grandfather, growing up, I don't know if you like cricket or sports, but my grandfather was Brian Johnston. And he was, yes, just, yeah. So when you say the nature of nurture,
excellent, aren't they? By the way, my grandfather's Brian Johnston.
It's a fun one to drop in there, but whether that's, you know, anything, you know, he was always a massive inspiration growing up, you know, someone who was funny and, you know, because I do a lot of hosting nowadays. I do a lot of comparing at festivals. But you nailed it absolutely on the head with, it's all about the science and philosophy about beatboxing. It's the most beautiful thing we've stumbled into. I think all this, in fact, I just did a show the other day where we were promoting a course that some friends do with the NHS. And it's also to do, I mean, there's a lot of musical therapy, there's a lot of musical recovery work, beatboxing. When I go and teach, I don't teach people to become the best beatboxer ever. You know, I'd be out of a job if that was, you know, it's all about confidence building. It's about breathing. It's about exercising. It's about trying something new. It's working with other people. And it's putting people in that discomfort zone to find something, you know, if you can discover that as a teacher or anything like that, but also it's something so new. You know, there's a lot of musical therapy places where we'll go, well, we do ukulele class twice a week. And you're going, there's no one in this class has motor skills and you're trying to say this is a benefit. I don't think. And then when you see it with beatboxing, because there is no wrong, you know, I mean, we heard Mark beatbox. You can't get more wrong than that. But as in, there is no wrong. Now, if you're getting voluntary communication from a patient or anyone you're working with, that's progress. And, you know, obviously, when you find that's a consistency, that's what we're trying to do. And we've gone under MRI scanners. I sent about 40 people under an MRI scanner, I think, a few years ago. And that was to see which parts of the brain were, you know, reacting, whether it was the speech, whether it was language, and it's on comparison with guitarist. But again, beatboxing, because you don't need anything. There's no electricity, no evil. It doesn't have to be music.
That was one of the things I said to you when we just before we came on. I said, oh, you know, I've done some work with beatboxers and we've done some things with them, but actually, basically, I've always seen them do it with a mic. And you came on and we were testing the sound, and you were doing it completely micless. And I said, well, that's to do with particular sounds you can get with a mic and cupping and stuff like that. But in fact, you can do all of this pretty much just with your face and hands and whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Amplification really helps. You know, it's obviously, you know, if you've got a stage of 1,000 people or something like that, you want those extra sounds to come through. And also when you're amplified, because I mean, we do our shows with the Beatbox Collective, and it's like, imagine running and talking at the same time. That it's that for an hour and stuff. And, you know,
but it's also showmanship, isn't it? It's also about having something to interact with when you've got a mic.
We've got tons of people joining in, and lots of people saying that I should give it another go. But no, I won't give it another go. Rupert, have you got another, like, a little set you could do for us, like another thing you could do?
Yeah, I've got a little bit. I mean, like I was even going to move on to some sounds and talk about some instruments as well. Like, yeah, if you want me to do it. I mean, literally, you throw a shoe at the camera when you've had enough of me and stuff. Okay. Like, you know,
go for it.
I'm very happy. All right. So, well, thanks for everyone's curiosity. Rather than just going full on with lots more beatbox, again, when we're saying, we love to say every sound is a good sound. Now, you can do any sound. Okay, any sound I can do, you can do. Any sound you can do, I can do. Any sound natural, like a, or digital, like a you can recreate with a human anatomy, all for free, no electricity and no evil. But the whole idea here is you are your instrument. You own your instrument, okay? So you can make it sound however you like. When we were doing the drums earlier with the and the, you could say t-b-k. It doesn't matter. And if someone's judging you, tell them to get out. So the whole idea is, rather than just doing drum sounds, like a what I'm going to show you is some bass sounds. And I chatted earlier with Mark about this very briefly, going, you resonate the side of your mouth with a, or parts of your mouth by going, or, but anything you can do out, you can do in. So if I went inwards, that's a, okay. It's like if I went inwards, it's a, oh, okay. So, but with the bass sounds, everyone knows where the didgeridoo comes from. It comes from Australia. 10 points. Okay, and it's a long woodwind instrument which they used to actually communicate where the nearest watering holes were. But that's more of a throat bass, and it's more of a. And anyway, now there's all this new dubstep and electronic music. You can manipulate a sound like that and go and make it your own. Now again, that's basses. Very simply, you can actually just hum, just going. A nice easy way. That's the simplest way, and you can create any melody just through humming. But you've also got your trumpets, your classic but fortunately we're more cultured to watch Coronation Street on 11 o'clock on a Friday. But what I'm going to show you is a meat trumpet, where you can put a little castanet on the end and you get a nice little haunting like jazz sound, like a and it's that nice cool jazz sound. But these are all little sounds and instruments, and you can keep going with lots of sounds. But again, it doesn't have to be musical. Like, nothing comes from nothing, so Confucius used to say. You could be standing around just sitting there and going, I mean, it's summer, so you should expect a lot of this, but apologies to any vegans here, sorry. There you go. But all these sounds, again, so we're just doing, I'm just doing random sounds here, but I got a lot of this influence through, not through YouTube, it was from meeting people, but also from Michael Winslow, who is the guy from Police Academy. Okay, every sound he did, 100% real. I went to go and see him in a show about 10 years ago, sat on the front row of in a pub in London and watched my idol. Absolutely unbelievable. But all the sounds he does is completely real. You know, when he's just like going, or he did the police car breaking down like the. But the one sound he did that absolutely amazed me was the electric guitar. And it's basically doing two things at the same time, okay? And he's basically taking a high note like a with a low note. Now, with a bit of extra H2O, H2O is not just important for life, but for beatboxing as well. You get an extra bit of distortion. Hopefully I won't cover my laptop screen. Anyway, here we go. There's an insurance policy for that somewhere. Here we go. Hopefully you got a little extra bit of distortion at the end. But it's like doing two things at once. And that's like Tuvan throat singing, or Mongolian throat singing, where you push it from your diaphragm, channel it up through your throat, and then you accent it with your tongue. Now, hopefully, I'm warmed up, it's 11:30. Hopefully you'll hear two sounds at the same time. Here we go. And it's hopefully harmonizing with myself. There we go. Hopefully you heard 2 sounds, and that wraps up all the sounds.
Rupert, just really amazing stuff.
Oh, the neighbours think so too. So
well, yes, it must be quite strange living near you, but I have to say he's currently obsessed with the Who, which is brilliant. HU, not WHO.
Not the Who.
Oh, right, okay.
They're a Mongolian rock band. They do throat singing over heavy metal.
Oh, Hung Ho Tur.
Yes.
Yes. We were meant to support. They didn't get their. We did the London A Cappella Festival 2 years ago, I think it was, at King's Place. They were the headline. They were who we really wanted to see, and they couldn't get their visas, so we never got to see them. And it was literally, I mean, for us as just like they're the gods of throat singing. I'm glad we've got kindred spirits and stuff. Yeah. I met someone the other day who was into Gregorian chanting, and I was like, oh my god, you're the one.
Right, so listen, that's gone down a storm. Needless to say, there's loads and loads of comments there. Everybody can follow you at the facebook.com/the Beatbox Collective.
Yes.
And I saw the TED Talk. Do you do like a YouTube channel as well where you do little tutorials or anything, or?
Well, honestly, it's thanks to you both for inviting me on. I love live experience. There's lots of stuff on the internet. No one ever spells my name right, so you'll never find it. But the best thing is, honestly, the Beatbox Collective, there's loads of beatbox tutorials across the internet. If you or schools or companies are ever interested in getting a beatboxer or the Beatbox Collective to come down and teach your entire school, we've taught up to 20,000 people with young voices. We can teach anyone. I mean, it takes 5 minutes. We can do 2-hour sessions. If you're interested, please type in beatboxing across the internet, because how to is the most looked up thing on YouTube. So if you want to learn anything, there'll be stuff on there. But always get in touch with the Beatbox Collective or the UK Beatbox Championships or the Fifth Element Agency. And yeah, I'll be on any end of that call.
Really excellent. Thank you so much for coming on. That was really different and really enjoyable. And I'll tell you what, I'll try and learn beatboxing over the weekend, and I'll be back on Monday. You can come watch me then.
Amazing. Well, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm now following you guys, but this is the weekend. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rupert. We just need to say another thank you, and that's Dave Whittle, who actually recommended that we check out and get in touch with Rupert.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank you, Dave. I don't know if you're watching the show today, but I'm going to send you a message anyway. But it's great when people suggest really interesting people. I love
Lisa Francis says that bird just woke my cat up.
Right, we've overrun. We have to go and get on with some work. But thank you for joining us. We will be back tomorrow. Have a good Friday.
Have a good Friday. See you tomorrow.